With his disastrous debate moderation, the credibility of Chris Wallace, a darling of the mainstream media elite, has officially collapsed. In this video, we're going to take a look at the colossal fall of Chris Wallace, how his debate disaster was but the latest in a whole line of anti-Trump fails, and why Wallace's fall from grace entails nothing less than the collapse of the very anti-Trump narrative he so desperately tried to fabricate. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you as always. If this is your first time here with us and you're looking for some daily encouragement and optimism as well as analysis to help you make sense of these crazy and insane times, you have found your oasis in this channel. We post 2 videos a day analyzing current events, analyze some super awesome conservative trends so we can all live in the present in light of even better things to come. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together celebrate the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Before we jump into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's Collagen, available at my special website, healthwithsteveturley.com. Now, if you don't know, collagen may be the closest thing we'll ever get to a real fountain of youth. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen helps to renew and revitalize how you look and how you feel. Taking collagen regularly can revitalize your body, can make your skin, bones, and even your hair look and feel more healthy and youthful. I use it every day. I put it in my coffee in the morning. It's great. And if you click on that link below today, you can get 51% off your order. So don't wait. Click on that link below today and get your own collagen supply. You'll be glad that you did. All right, gang, so let's dive right in here. I'm sure you all know by now that last week's debate, the rumble in the jungle between President Trump and the fledgling sleepy Joe Biden, who told us that there wasn't enough time to list out all the law enforcement organizations that have lined up to endorse him. Do you remember that? Of course, the number turns out to be 0. Trump was right. Not a single law enforcement agency or organization has endorsed Biden, but you wouldn't have known that if you solely watched the debate, because the moderator of the debate, Fox News' Chris Wallace, immediately interrupted Joe Biden's stammering for any hope of a comeback to Trump's truth bomb to deflect attention away from the fact that Biden has been completely abandoned by law enforcement. And that was but one of a myriad of times that Chris Wallace blatantly carried Biden's water during the debate. And so it's not surprising that pundits widely agreed that Chris Wallace was, in the words of one commentator, nothing short of the single most embarrassing presidential debate moderator in history. His performance was, by all accounts, a disaster. It was indeed embarrassing, made all the more so by the pathetic attempts at gaslighting from the likes of Brit Hume and many other of his colleagues at Fox News, the never-Trumper troops who to this day defend anything and everything that's anti-Trump, most especially Chris Wallace. I think the assessment that Wallace was more akin to an MSNBC or CNN anchor is right. We don't have to look too far to see just how ridiculous his so-called moderating was. Victor Davis Hanson had a great way of putting it. For much of the night, Wallace grimaced as he asked Biden to explain a few misdemeanors while demanding Trump defend his presumed felonies. Isn't that awesome? It's so good. What a metaphor, because it's exactly what happened. It was this asymmetrical, prove you're not guilty kind of questioning that we got throughout the night directed towards Trump. It was just cringeworthy. And VDH noted that Wallace seemed stunned that Trump refused to conduct himself like Mitt Romney did back in 2012 during his debate, which was moderated by Candy Crowley with Obama, where she infamously interrupted Romney when he was tearing into Obama. And of course, Romney just stepped back and acted like the referee had just sucker punched him because she fact-checked him on stage. Trump, on the other hand, was ready for any kind of liberal attack that Wallace would give him. And it was ridiculous. Wallace wanted to talk about Trump's tax returns, the new media scandal that was exposed 24 hours before the debate by the New York Times. That's how they operate. The media is comprised of what scholars call political technologists, who fabricate the narratives that our media elite have predetermined should dominate the election so as to manipulate the outcome always in their favor. Wallace brings up Trump's tax returns, but he does not a peep, not a whimper of a mention of Hunter Biden pocketing $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife. We, in fact, have a wire transfer and a Senate report that revealed that that is exactly what happened. You would think that media propaganda complex that was so obsessed with Russian collusion might be interested in a story like that. And then when Trump brought it up, Wallace deliberately deflected it by saying, and I kid you not, we've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about something more substantial. All right, so I'd like to talk about climate change. That's our ruling elite, our celebrity political class, of which Chris Wallace is an honorary member. And then, of course, Wallace pressed Trump about the issue of race and white supremacy, which is every bit of fabrication as the whole Russian collusion nonsense. He deliberately edited the Charlottesville quote by truncating Trump's explicit condemnation of white supremacists and Klansmen. But did he ask Biden about his delivering the eulogy at the funeral of a high-ranking Klansman, Senator Robert Byrd of West Virginia, who he called his mentor? Did Wallace mention the "you ain't black" comment or the bizarre corn pop yarns? But to me, the crown of the absurdity of our political class today, as represented so ably by Chris Wallace, the crown jewel of its insane duplicity is when Wallace had the gall, the unmitigated gall, to dare demand Trump to declare before the nation that he would accept the results of the election in November. I want you to think about that. Who the hell is standing next to Trump up there? Is it not Joe Biden, the one who in January 2017, we now know, just days before Trump's inauguration, it was Joe Biden who was in the Oval Office meeting, which discussed plotting to take out Michael Flynn, Trump's national security advisor. It was the Obama administration that used the FBI to actively attempt to sabotage a presidential election and then overthrow a duly elected president. It was Biden and Obama administration officials that pushed the Russian collusion insanity based on a knowingly fraudulent Steele dossier paid for by Hillary Clinton. And Chris Wallace has the unmitigated gall to ask Trump if he will accept the election outcome. What a snake. What a vicious and vile snake. Now, unfortunately, this is not the first time that Wallace has exposed himself to be a card-carrying member of the media gatekeepers of the deep state swamp. But first, we cannot thank you enough for all of you who have signed up for a brand new Turley Talks podcast. We are now one of the top 20 podcasts in the nation. And if for news commentary, and we're on our way to #1. And so if you own a business and are looking to advertise directly to a huge conservative audience, we have a number of exclusive launch packages for you that you'll put your business front and center before a huge audience of dedicated and loyal conservatives. All you got to do is just click on that link below in the pinned comment section and sign up to get more information on how your business can flourish as a sponsor of our Turley Talks podcast. It'll be an absolute honor and privilege to work together with you to advance conservative businesses throughout our nation. All right, so you may not know this, but in November 2017, Chris Wallace received, I kid you not, he actually received an award for excellence in journalism from an obvious hack organization, thoroughly enmeshed in the DC swamp. And at the awards banquet during his speech, Wallace claimed, and I quote, that President Donald Trump has engaged in the most direct, sustained assault on a free press in our history, close quote. According to Wallace, Trump has done all he can to, quote, delegitimize the media, attacking us institutionally and individually. And he went on to say, I think his purpose is clear, a concerted campaign to raise doubts that when we report critically about his administration, that we can be trusted. And what Wallace did is he referenced the fact that between January 10th and October 31st, Trump tweeted about fake news 141 times, which of course doesn't include all the times he said it out loud, especially to Jim Acosta. And Wallace highlighted one of Trump's tweets. The fake news media, failing New York Times, NBC News, ABC, CBS, CNN, is not my enemy. It is the enemy of the American people. And so Wallace concluded, quote, that was precisely his point. If we report negatively about something he's doing, we are hurting the country. Now, in light of what we just analyzed in terms of the debate questions, and Wallace is accusing Trump to explain his committed felonies while he excused Biden for his mere misdemeanors, I think we could see here that this goes way beyond merely spinning the news on Wallace's part. Wallace isn't spinning. He's functioning, like I mentioned earlier, as a political technologist. It's a term that scholars use. It's very similar to spin doctors or gaslighters, but it's far more pernicious than that. It's far more choreographed. What we have to understand, and this is important, the mainstream media is operated by what scholars call agenda-setting theory. Okay, agenda-setting theory is a field of study that explores the influence of the media on setting the political agenda and prioritizing political causes and policies. It's long been recognized that what the mainstream media focuses on, or what current events get attention via the mainstream media, is a major driver of what counts as a viable political agenda, which of course is always radical left, right? This is why we're not exaggerating in the least when we say that reporters are actually left-wing activists disguised as journalists. They are, and they see themselves as political agenda setters, right? They know it. The problem, of course, the corruption comes when they deliberately disguise this agenda setting as simply impartial, objective, disinterested news that's inherently agenda-free or politically neutral. But it goes deeper than that. And that's where you get this notion of what some call virtual politics or political technologists. What modern day political technologists do is they go beyond simply promoting their own favored candidates or causes. Instead, they actually manufacture entire political narratives, which actually includes the opposition, all ultimately in an effort to keep themselves in power. So this is what the British scholar Andrew Wilson writes about in his book on virtual politics. Political technologists act, in his words, as political meta-programmers who basically construct the whole narrative by which our politics operates, including their opposition. So the mainstream media doesn't just provide a narrative of support for the far left and for cultural Marxists and for Democrats and the like. They also provide the definitive narrative for their political opponents. So in Chris Wallace's world, as a political technologist, as a purveyor of virtual politics, Wallace defines Trump's absolutely legitimate critiques of a secular leftist globalist media as nothing more than the rantings of a disgruntled authoritarian wannabe. Gang, that's not mere spin, that's manipulation. It's a deliberate attempt by a major member of the mainstream media to change the way you and I perceive reality. The beauty, however, is that it's no longer working. Chris Wallace is probably the loneliest man in Washington, D.C. right now, all the while President Trump's popularity continues to soar. So we're not just looking at the fall of one of the major gatekeepers of the Washington swamp, but we're also seeing the collapse of the anti-Trump political narrative that Wallace himself tried so hard to fabricate. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on how Michelle Obama has absolutely embarrassed herself as support for her precious BLM has completely imploded. You're not going to want to miss this. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.